Alright, so for us to cut our boot cut trouser, these are the measurements we're going to be using. We're going to be using a waist measurement of 28, the lap or the thigh of 22, the knee measurement is 15, while the ankle to be 21 because it's a boot cut. Alright, the trouser length is 34. So without wasting time, let's start. So first, when drafting our trouser, first of all, we need to identify the width line where we'll be taking our vertical measurements from. So we'll identify this mark here to be the where we'll be taking our vertical measurements from. And this side here, we're going to identify where we'll be taking our horizontal measurements from. Right? This line will serve as a guide for us. A guide for us. So now, first we're going to identify the waist measurement, alright? And we'll do that by removing half inch from here. Okay, from the beginning here, we'll remove half inch. This is just to give our trouser fitting at the waist, okay? So we'll remove half inch here, alright? Then we'll measure from here down by 7 to locate the pocket area. Now, our waist is what? Our waist is 28. Divided by 4, you'll be having 7. Plus half inch seam allowance, that becomes 7.5. Produce a bit here, 7.5. Okay. So on this 7.5, we're going to come down by half inch. Then we'll join it back to the waist. This is to give the trouser fitting at the front. Join it back to this point here. Alright. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now is to get to our crotch length. From there, we'll get our thigh line, we'll get our knee, and the length of the trouser. Okay. So how do we get our crotch length? Is by dividing the waist measurement by 4. So divide the 28 by 4, you are having 7. Okay. So because we want it to be fitted, we'll just add half inch to it. That becomes 7.5. This gives us our crotch length. Okay. So this 7.5, we are going to join it to this side. Okay. The next thing is for us to, so now we're getting the length of our crotch, and on this length of crotch, this has become our what? Our thigh line or the lap line. So we'll take this measurement from here to here. We're having what? 8. From this line to this one, we're having 8. We'll bring it down here. Before then, we're going to come up by 1.5 inches to locate our hip line. It can be 1.5, it can be 2, depending on the size of that customer. So for this person is not big, so 1.5 will be okay. So this is now our hip line. This is our thigh line. This is our waist. Okay. So on this hip line now, how can we cover our crotch? We simply measure from here to here. We have 8. Bring the 8 here. This is 8. All right. And then add 3/4 inch allowance to it. That becomes our hip measurement. Okay. So we join this point to this point here. And remember, we said our lap is 22. Divide by 2, you have 11. When you're cutting, you divide lap measurement by 2, or the time measurement by 2. So this is 11 right here. Okay. So it means I'm going to cut this to this. You can use your French curve, or you can use your free hand. All right. So let me just use my French curve. Okay. So by joining this to this here. So we are done with our one. We are done with our crotch. Okay. The next is for us to fit our trouser, to give it fitting so that we can get the other measurements. So we'll come here. The center of this is 11. The center half of 11 is 5.5. 11 divided by 2 will give you 5.5. So this is 5.5. All right, 5.5. So before then, let's just get, okay, this is 5.5. All right. So come here and still mark our 5.5. I'll get a straight line to join these 2 points. Okay. All right. So now let's get the length of our trouser. We say our trouser length is 34. So this is 34 right here. Plus hemming allowance, that becomes 2 inches, that becomes 36. All right. This is 34. Our hemming allowance equals to 36. So this is the length of our trouser. Okay. This is the hemming allowance. Okay. This is the length. This is the hemming allowance. All right. So let's get the knee point. The knee point is simply the length divided by 2. So we divide the length by 2, you're having 17. Okay. So this is our 17. That becomes the knee point because the length is 34. So this is our 17. This is 17. All right. So now let's apply our measurement. We take the knee measurement. You say the knee measurement is 15. So we're going to mark 15 divided by 2 will give you 7.5. 7.5. So if we divide 7.5 by 2, you should be having 3 3/4, right? So this is 3 3/4 here, 3 3/4 this side, 3 3/4 this side, making 7.5. All right. So coming to the length of our trouser here, we say we're using 21 for the ankle here. Divide 21 by 2, you have 10.5. All right. So if you divide 10.5 by 2, what you are having 5.25. So this is 10.5 here. So 10 and 5.25 this side, 5.25 this side. All right. The next thing what to do now is to join this point to this point here. Now, before we join them, there are two different kind of boot cuts. Okay, there are some boot cuts that begin to open from the knee, and there are some that begin to open slightly below the knee. Now, it depends on the type you want to make. Now, if you want it to open slightly below the knee, you can measure, let's say 3 inches down, also 3 inches down. All right. So at this point here is where your boot cut will start opening, which means you are going to extend this knee measurement here, which is 7.5. You are going to extend it to this place. And then your boot, which means your trouser from here to here will be straight and it will open from here. This is what I'm saying. It means your trouser will open from here. Look at this. To open from here down to the end. It will still open from here down to the end. All right. Then at this point, it will be a bit straight. All right. At this point, to be a bit straight. All right. Then the final point is here. Now you're going to from this point to this point here. All right. Take note, please. All right. Then you're going to curve this half mark here we did before we took our waist measurement to this thigh line there, hip line there. Sorry. See this? So we just join this together at this point. Okay. You see this? Then we join this point to this point here. And guys, with this, we are done drafting our boot cut trouser. Now, remember what I said here. This is if you want your trouser to start playing lower the knee, okay? You want to start playing from the knee, you simply join this point down. But if you want to, it depends on how down you want your flip to be. You can still push this line down, let's say by 5 inches before you play it. It all depends on your choice, where and how you want it to play. All right, so let's cut this out and get the back piece. If you have questions, please drop them and I'll answer them. If you have questions, please drop your questions. Right, so now coming over to the back piece, okay, what I'll simply need to do is to mark, all right. Mind you, what we are making is a pattern that you can now use to cut your trouser, okay. So is to mark, I'll come here and mark the side here. I'll come here and mark the side here. That is step 1. mark it all the way to the top. Now, the difference between the back and the front piece of a trouser, okay, be it boot cut or normal trouser, plain trouser, the height here should be by 2 inches difference, okay, from the back, and the wideness here should be by 2.5 inches, okay, 2.5 inches. So this is 2 inches height. This is 2.5 inches for the width. Now this point here, I will join it to this side. Let's watch carefully. Join it here. Can you see that? Now, the next thing I'm going to do after joining this point here to here, I will now shift my trouser this way. Now watch how I am going to shift it. Watch carefully how I will shift it. Okay, so in shifting it, I'm shifting it to be a difference of about 2.25 inch down here. Let's confirm this. This is 2. Since it's boot cut is big, I make it 2.5 inches or 2.25 is fine. All right, down here, and when you come up here, there's a gum here. All right, and when you come up here, you can maintain the 2.5 inches all the way. All right, or you can make it 2.75 up here. This is 2.75. Just a little bit bigger than the down part. All right. So the next thing is to join this point to this point. Now at this back curve here, I'm going to come out here by 0.5 inch. The curve here won't be as deep as the front curve. So this is how this is going to look like. All right. Something like this. Okay. All the way there. Now see this. It's just how it's going to look like. The next thing for us to do is to go ahead and to cut this out, okay? So we are done cutting our boot cut trouser. This is the front piece and this is the back piece, guys. Guys, if you enjoy watching this video, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to this channel. Turn your notification bell on. This is the knee. You see the knee extension. All right. If you enjoy watching this video, subscribe to my channel. Turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop my videos, you will see them. All right. So thank you so much. Welcome to Now Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world.